So what if you could take a passion for the ocean and actually turn it into the power to protect it? Well, today we're looking at Reef Check, which is this global community of volunteers who are doing exactly that. They're taking action to monitor and defend our planet's marine ecosystems, one dive at a time. All right, let's jump right in.
To really get why their work is so critical, we have to start with the problem they're up against. And for that, we're going to head to the island of Réunion in the Indian Ocean. It's a really stark and frankly urgent example of what's happening to coral reefs all over the world.
Okay, so this table shows us data from 2 key survey spots in the Reunion Marine Reserve. Now don't get bogged down in the technical site names. The real story is right there in that trend column. For 3 decades, the data has been telling the same grim story. The hard coral cover, the very foundation of the reef, has been in a serious and steady decline.
And things are speeding up. In early 2025, the island got hit by the worst coral bleaching event they have ever documented. And before the reefs even had a moment to breathe, a Cyclone Garance, just swept right through, making the damage so much worse. This is not some slow-motion crisis anymore. This is happening right now. But here's the thing. In the face of this massive challenge, something pretty remarkable is happening. A really powerful environmental movement is growing. And it's not just powered by professional scientists in labs. It's powered by regular people. People who just care deeply about their local oceans.
And this is the whole idea behind Reef Check. They harness the power of what's called citizen science, which is really all about creating a partnership. You've got the scientists providing the framework, the methods, and then you have this global network of volunteers providing the eyes, the ears, and the hands needed to collect data on a scale that would be otherwise impossible.
So here's the crucial part. Reef Check isn't just asking for help, they're actually creating experts. By training and empowering passionate divers, they're turning local folks into the most effective, long-term guardians of their own marine backyards.
So how does that actually happen? How do you go from just being a recreational diver to a scientifically trained data collector? To see that in action, let's take a look at a recent training program they ran down in Baja California.
The training is really built in these logical layers. It all starts with the absolute essential, dive safety. Nothing else matters if that's not locked down. Only then do they move into the what and how, the scientific protocols, identifying species. This makes sure that by the time they hit the water for their final evaluations, they're not just divers anymore. They are confident, safe, and totally reliable data collectors.
And you can just hear the impact this has on the volunteers themselves. A recent trainee, Gibran Villa, put it this way. He captured how the experience is intense, for sure, but also super engaging and just deeply rewarding.
Now, with a name like Reef Check, you might think all their work is in these sunny, tropical spots. But that's really only half the story, and it builds into a much bigger picture of ocean monitoring.
So, the organization actually runs 2 major monitoring programs. You've got the one for the vibrant tropical coral reefs, like we've been talking about in places like Reunion and the Maldives. But then there's this whole other program dedicated to the equally vital cold water kelp forests you find in places like British Columbia and Baja California.
In fact, their work in these kelp forests, it's not new at all. The program is actually celebrating its 20th anniversary. That means 2 decades of consistent data collection. That creates an absolutely invaluable long-term data set that helps us understand those slow-moving changes in these crucial underwater forests. Okay, so you have all this training, all these hours underwater. What's the result? What's the actual impact of gathering all this data? Well, this is where the story gets really powerful.
First off, let's just talk about the sheer scale of this. The volunteer network just recently completed its 2,000th survey dive. Think about that for a second. 2,000 individual dives, all collecting vital data. This milestone happened off Anacapa Island in California, where the team apparently had to fight through rough seas and seasickness just to get the job done. That is pure dedication.
And this focus on building up local capacity, it's a core part of their whole strategy. In the Maldives alone, their expeditions have trained over 100 citizen scientists since 2011. And what's really important is that more than 30 of those trainees are local Maldivians. That ensures the skills and the knowledge stay right there in the community.
And this data, it doesn't just sit on a spreadsheet somewhere. It becomes a catalyst for real change. In the Maldives, it led directly to a local NGO being formed. That data is then used by the government to help shape policy on marine protected areas. And in places like British Columbia, it empowers First Nations by helping them develop monitoring protocols for their own Indigenous Guardian initiatives.
And for anyone out there who might be a little skeptical about the quality of volunteer data, check this out. Back in Reunion, a comparison showed that the surveys done by Reef Check volunteers revealed the exact same declining trend in coral cover as the data collected by professional scientists. That is a huge validation of their entire model. Okay, so we've seen the problem our reefs and our kelp forests are facing, we've seen the rigorous process Reef Check uses to train its volunteers, and we've seen proof that this people-powered model actually works. So what does it all mean for the future of our oceans?
It means that Reef Check is building something so much more than just a database. It's building a global network of advocates. I mean, this quote from Manuel Vivanco, another volunteer, it just says it all. The training doesn't just create data collectors, it creates people who are more deeply connected to and inspired to protect their own local marine world.
Through thousands of dives and just countless hours of dedication, Reef Check has built a genuine movement for ocean conservation. They have proven that everyday people can generate world-class data. And that leaves us with one final crucial question. The volunteers are out there doing their part. The question is, what will the rest of us do with the knowledge they provide?